Yo, everyone, welcome back to a brand new stream here on the Max Tiger HD YouTube channel. Today we're back with a brand new episode of the F1 Chat, the F1 Chat episode 18, as Verstappen clinches second title with winning Suzuka as first under threat. Now, today we'll be talking about the Japanese Grand Prix and the United States Grand Prix, and of course, why Verstappen's first title is under threat. Now, I don't know if any of you actually know what is happening behind the scenes. FIA have also admitted mistakes for the recovery vehicle at Suzuka. However, there has been some gossip in the paddock. There has been news in the paddock about a certain team that win titles, apparently. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a big punishment. However, it could result in something a lot worse than what they would like. Red Bull have breached the budget cap of 2021. Probably hence why they won the title. We don't know. Now, Red Bull have been found guilty of breaking the budget cap, and they exceeded the $145 million or 114 million pounds limit during 2021 season. The FIA have said that, adding that the offence was minor, the lower of the two categories of breach. This means that Red Bull exceeded the cap by less than 5%, or $7.25 million. Both Red Bull and Aston Martin were also found guilty of a procedural breach of the cap. FIA did not reveal the amount of which Red Bull exceeded the cap, how it had done so, or what penalties would be applied. It said it was currently determining appropriate action. Now, Red Bull have said in a statement that they noted the FIA's findings with surprise and disappointment. The team added that their 2021 submission was below the cost cap limit, so we need to carefully review the FIA's findings, as our belief remains that the relevant costs are under the 2021 cost cap amount. Despite the conjecture and positioning of others, there is, of course, a process under the regulations with the FIA, which we will respectfully follow while we consider all the options available to us. Both teams have the possibility of appealing against the decision. Potential penalties for a minor breach include a reprimand, deduction of drivers and or constructors' championship points for the season in question, suspension from one or more stages of competition, limitations on aerodynamic or other testing features, and a reduction of the team's cost cap. Now, that could include the stories up to where we've heard as Lewis Hamilton being handed the title. Now, I know it. I don't even know how to go about it, but it's difficult to say whether that will happen. Which does, It surprises me in the fact that they're trying this, because Lewis Hamilton in the final race of the season did deserve that championship. He did deserve to have something along the lines of how it went about things. Now, it's obviously difficult for most people to understand that even though this is a minor issue, they still see it as enough to be a consequence. Now, the McLaren boss has said Red Bull breach constitutes cheating, and Hamilton has said the future of Formula One's budget cap depends on the punishment Red Bull are given for breaching it last year. Hamilton did say if they are relaxed with these rules, all the teams will just go over. Spending millions more on only having a slap on the wrist is not going to be great for the sport. And he also added they might not as well not have a cost cap in the future. Now, that's something that's obviously going to be difficult for them to handle, which is fair enough. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, now, I don't know what to say, because on one hand, I do want them to hand the title to Hamilton, but it all depends. FIA has made an offer to Red Bull for the terms of what is known as an accepted breach agreement for them breaching the cost cap. The offer, the details of which are confidential, specifies the penalty the FIA would hand out if Red Bull accept they breach the cap. Red Bull, who continue to insist that they were within the cap in 2021, have the choice of accepting they were in breach and taking the penalty, or fighting the judgment. Obviously, the sensible offer will be taking the penalty. If they contest it, the matter will go to an adjudication panel of independent experts in financial law to decide whether Red Bull were in breach and what penalty to impose. Hamilton lost a tight 8th championship fight with Red Bull's Max Verstappen in 2021 in controversial circumstances after the FIA's race director, Michael Massey at the time, failed to apply the rules correctly in a safety car period at the final race of the season in Abu Dhabi at Yas Marina circuit. As for his reaction to the FIA's announcement and what consequences the Red Bull should face, Hamilton said the integrity of the sport is where the decision hopefully will be made. I do believe Mohammed Ben Sulayem, the FIA president, and his team will make the right decisions. I have to believe that. I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. What they have done is done. By that, he means Red Bull. Now, it's difficult to say whether it's difficult to say whether it's difficult to say whether they will give it to Hamilton or if it'll just be a little bit of a less of a thing. Now, the board of management at Red Bull is discussing its response to the FIA's offer, and team principal Christian Horner is expected to make a public statement on Friday, today, at the US Grand Prix. Verstappen said at the Circuit of the Americas in Austin on Thursday it is between the team and the FIA, and from our side we have a strong belief that we were in it. So that's why we're discussing with them about it to show what we think is right. Now, Alpine driver Fernando Alonso, who lost 2 close title fights against Red Bull's Sebastian Vettel in 2010 and 2012 when he was at Ferrari, said this has always been a part of F1. This is a new thing we implemented recently, the cost cap, but there was always things that aerodynamically that you could explore, some grey areas. Alonso also drew parallels between Red Bull's situation and the controversy over Ferrari's engine performance in 2019. The FIA announced that the season they believe Ferrari's engine was not always operated within the rules, but could not prove it. They reached a private settlement with the Italian team, whose engine performance dropped markedly for the 2020 season. Now, the FIA statement added, with respect to this first year of the application of the financial regulations, the intervention of the FIA cost cap administration has been lifted to reviewing the submissions made by the competitors and that no full formal investigations were launched. A procedural breach is not an overspend, but rather a failure to fill in forms correctly. Williams were also found guilty of this and fined $25,000 earlier in the year. Earlier on this Monday, Red Bull team principal Christian Horner repeated his belief that the team were under cap in 2021, and season in which Red Bull driver Max Verstappen won a close championship fight with Mercedes driver Lewis Hamilton in controversial circumstances at the final race of the year. We're very confident we're within the cap and within those financial regulations. So we've been shocked at speculation and accusations that have been made by other teams. We wait for the FIA to conclude their process and we wait to see what comes out. Anything other than compliance will be extremely surprised at. Red Bull also have the opportunity to enter into a settlement agreement. In this scenario, a team accepts its guilt, FIA impose a penalty, and it deems appropriate. Or they impose a penalty, and if it deems appropriate. Now, if a settlement can't be reached, or the settlement agreement cannot be there, the dispute will go to an adjudication panel of independent judges who will obviously look at the case and come to the conclusion whether the offence should be penalised. If the team is still not happy after that, it can take its case to the FIA's International Court of Appeal, which is what Hamilton and Mercedes almost did at the end of the season. Now, Binotto, team principal of Ferrari, said if there is a breach, the penalty has to be significant. Our car is being developed respecting the budget cap, and we know how much even a minor breach would have implied in performance. $5 million, about half a second. $1 to $2 million is 0.1 to 0.2 seconds, which can be the difference between second on the grid to pole position. It is about 2021, and also over the following seasons, I'm expecting full transparency and clarity on the discussions they have had. Mercedes team principal in F1, Toto Wolff, has also called for transparency about the process and was used to arrive at the assessment of any offence. So, Horner's defended his team, as usual. Now, it's different with how they look at things, because realistically, it's not the easiest thing to look at. Every time we see something like this, it just looks complicated. Now, half the time it's difficult with depending on which team it is. Obviously, this one being Red Bull, it's a little bit harder than it probably could be. Now, most of the time, anyway, now then, back to what I was saying. It's difficult. Since it's Red Bull, it's hold on, give me a second. Just give me one moment. Right. Now, anyway, so that is that. Munsey, big up, dude. Big up, Munsey, mate. Yeah, I noticed you had a new name, and I noticed you had a new F1 show. If you want me to go on that, please just message me. I'll be available now for quite a while for the F1 shows you have. But yeah, please do go subscribe to the Sports Capital, as it will be very fun over there, I presume. Now, obviously, this budget cap won't be increased or decreased unless Red Bull have been found guilty of breaking it too much. So after all this happened, Zach Brown said it constitutes cheating. In realistic terms, as Binotto said, pretty much is. Especially after what happened last year, from how Verstappen won the title. Obviously, Massey's half at fault for that. Brown calls for penalties that will hit Red Bull financially and on the track. Any team who have overspent have gained an unfair advantage, both in the current and following year's car development. That's what he wrote. He also added the FIA should communicate subsequent action and penalties at pace to maintain the integrity of F1. Now, it's hard to say whether he is being logical, as the dividing line between minor and material offences is 5% of the cap, or $7.25 million in 2021. So it was kind of something they were looking at. And I guess Brown has just thought, well, this has happened and this has happened. Now, Williams were fined in May for a cost cap regulation breach. The team missed the 31st March 2022 deadline to submit its 2021 accounts, first to be punished under the cap since its introduction last year. Cap has been reduced to $140 million this year from $145 million in dollars since 2021. Now, cost cap was created to limit how much an F1 team can spend during a calendar year in order to compete, which was good because it's really helped every team out in terms of how much you can do for a certain weekend. Obviously, Max Verstappen hadn't had many issues this season, so it's obviously been a little bit more stable for him, and it's been a little bit easier in terms of what's been happening. Now, I won't dwell on this for too much longer because things are not really aren't really looking on the up for Red Bull if this penalty does get included. Now, I don't know whether Lewis Hamilton will be handed the title. In my opinion, he should be, because Verstappen's a cheating little twat. Well, it's not really Verstappen, but it's Red Bull in general. But Verstappen, he drove well, let's be honest. But if they breach the cap, they must suffer the consequences, even if that does mean point deduction from last season, which was the season in question. So now we are very, very close. I don't exactly know how close it's actually getting, but at the moment, if I look at my latest reports here, my latest reports do state that Hamilton is very close to winning the title from last year. Now, I don't exactly know how that will turn out. However, it's a little bit different when we have to look at different options in the window. Now, I will come back to this unless I keep going with it. Now, give me a moment. Now, back to the matter of question. Right. This is me testing something out here. Jensen will be joining us. Well, joining me, at least. This is a test run. I'm just seeing how this will work. Now, he does like his F1. I think. depending on which team he's actually dumb enough to support. In this case, Red Bull. But he will be here for the rest of the stream until he has to pop off because his mum told him to do the dishes. But yeah, so he'll be joining us for this stream. I'll test whether it'll work or not, and maybe, just maybe, he can be part-time or permanent guest if he can be asked to get on stream all the time. So we'll see how this goes. But you've already seen Jensen before, so this is his second viewing on the channel. So see how it goes. So when he is ready, we will get him in. But for now, I will just hold on a minute. Right, we're good. Hold on. Much better. Much better. That's what I wanted to do. Right.
Hi.
Wait, wrong way. Now, I know Jensen is a Max Verstappen fan / Lando Norris / whatever. Every other driver apart from fucking Lewis Hamilton.
Not exactly, but sure.
Well, you're almost there.
Just on my phone because my iPad is dead. So I'm having to use my phone.
Sucks for you then, doesn't it? Anyway, I'm not going to ask you too much about this because I don't know whether you've kept up to date with the story. If Red Bull were handed a penalty and it did impose Verstappen losing the title to Hamilton from last year, what would that be a good decision? Or maybe not good decision, but would it be? Don't know what word I'm looking for here.
Beneficial.
Will it be the sufficient?
Beneficial.
Decision? Well, it'll be beneficial to Hamilton at least.
Yeah.
Beneficial in the way that it's to the sport.
Oh God. Not really, because obviously Verstappen did put in a good fight that whole race.
10 seconds behind the whole race.
Yeah, but considering he went from absolutely dominating in qualifying to losing out from pole position from the first turn, he did okay to get it back, but when I was watching it, I don't think the FIA made the right decision of letting just the lapped cars between Hamilton and Verstappen through. If they were going to let all of them, if they were going to let them lot through, I think they should have let them all through.
Yeah, the only problem with that would be we'd finish under the safety car.
Yeah.
That was the only reason Massey did that. It's either the three options were leave it as it is and go for one lap of the race, change it and do what Massey did, or well, say that it was either finish under safety car because of lap cars.
Yeah.
Lap cars don't unlap themselves and they stay where they are. So Verstappen and Hamilton will fight their way like that. Or as Massey did it. Now, my opinion, Massey's an absolute twat for doing it.
Yeah.
Because it cost Hamilton the race. And it was kind of obvious Verstappen was going to get him into that corner because late under brake and Hamilton had worn tyres. So, in my opinion, it would be a sufficient decision to make. Now, because their budget cap breach could mean they got an extra 0.2 on Hamilton last season. They could have got an extra 10th. Could have been an extra 1,000th. I don't know. But even though it's only a minor decision or breach, I do feel, in my opinion at least, that it would be the right decision to deduct points off Red Bull. Whether it be 1, half a point, whatever. Verstappen should not, and I repeat this to any other fucker who disagrees, that no disrespect to you all, love my subscribers of course, but Verstappen, in that final race, did not deserve the win and the title.
Coming from a Verstappen fan, I agree.
Now, the only thing is, I say that because, yes, throughout the season, Verstappen was very good. He got slightly more wins than Verstappen. Sorry, he's racing himself. Than Hamilton. 2, he's a good driver. You can't take that away from him. He's a good driver.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But he was good all season. He was good most of the season. But you should not, as the FIA race director, should not be allowed to do that.
No.
Now, I can see his reasoning behind it. I can see Massey's reasoning behind it. But as soon as that happened, I was like, right, what's going to explode here? Twitter? Yes. Facebook? Maybe. Instagram? Yeah.
Yeah.
Every social media site was going to blow up.
YouTube.
Sport, going to blow up. Formula One website, gone.
Yeah.
Basically, as soon as that race finished, as soon as that decision was even made, I said to myself, he is gone.
Yeah.
He is getting sacked. As football like to say, sacked in the morning. Just like Steven Gerrard. Now, I don't know what the penalty is yet. None of us do.
No.
But at the moment, if Hamilton's handed world title, as it says at the bottom, I wouldn't care. Not because I'm a Hamilton fan. I know I'm a Hamilton fan and I'm proud of it. He's British. If you're British and you're supporting Verstappen, well, sucks to be you. Now,
I knew that question was going to come, but I mean, I've got my London Norris hoodie on, so.
But, yeah, I mean, if the title goes to Hamilton, brilliant. Like, he fucking deserves it after that. Him. But they need to sort it out quickly because otherwise, Hamilton's going to get pissed. Whole of F1's going to get pissed. And there's going to be nothing left. The reputation of the sport is going to get it out the window. Open my fucking curtains and get the window open. Because the sport is going to go out the fucking window. FIA race director, honestly, you control the race and you're fucking it up already. That's why he was sacked. Now, he's obviously come back in, but at least he's learned from his fucking mistakes.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to dwell on this for much longer, if not any longer. But Hamilton did add there is a lack of diversity. And Hamilton, obviously, as mentioned before, says Formula One budget cap's future depends on Red Bull's sanction. Now, the updated stories we don't know of yet. The only stories we're talking about is how Suzuka was a pain in the fucking ass. United States Grand Prix this weekend, and Red Bull breached the thing. And, of course, IndyCar's Palu to drive McLaren in practice today in Texas. Now,
who's driving? Sorry, I can't hear that.
IndyCar driver Alex Palou. I wouldn't bother trying to ask because There's no point.
Don't really pay attention to Indy cars, so I'm going to go there.
Yeah. Well, I've lost myself already.
You just thought they'd have stuck Oscar Piastri in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably.
Considering he's taken Ricciardo's seat.
Oh, also another thing. Nick De Vries confirmed Alpha Tauri.
Yeah.
So even though he is at Williams, saying that he's not, but he is.
Well, I saw this. I'm not saying it's true, and I'm just going off what I saw. Apparently, Haas and both Haas and Williams are looking for a new driver. So it's possible that Ricciardo might not be out of F1 for next season.
Yeah. So, as some of you F1 Majestics will know, Nick De Vries obviously got 2 points in his debut race as Albon missed the Grand Prix. I forgot which one it was.
It was...
but I'm not going to even bother. So
Monza?
So, obviously, Alex Albon had appendicitis at that point, so there was no chance. But the first entirely French driver lineup was 1994. And now Alpine, for next season, have brought it back. Esteban Ocon will be partnered in 2023-24 alongside AlphaTauri driver Pierre Gasly. Now, obviously, that's going to be a little bit difficult for AlphaTauri to handle after Yuki Tsunoda is their only driver left. Now, Fernando Alonso decided to leave Alpine for Aston Martin after failed to meet his demands for a new deal, and Vettel retires from F1. Gasly leaves Red Bull for the first time in his career after it agreed to release him from his contract. De Vries makes his full-time Formula One debut after years on its fringes. Gasly said he was delighted to begin this new chapter in his F1 career. Driving for a team that has French roots is something very special. He said, I know the strengths of Alpine, having raced against them over the past couple of years, and clearly their progress and ambition is very impressive and is improving. Now, Nick De Vries made his debut at Monza, finishing ninth for Williams. Gasly's contested in more than 100 Grand Prix, claimed a surprise win for AlphaTauri 2 years back at the same track. Now, this is going to be the first one, as I've said, since 1994. Team principal Otmar Snafnauer said Alpine had discussed the plan with Ocon before committing to Gasly. He also added Esteban was very supportive, Pierre as well. They're professionals and they have no issue working together, and hopefully the friendship will rekindle. They were friends at one point, but from a professional perspective, they're both very happy to work with each other. Now, De Vries, the 2021 champion of the all-electric Formula E Series and Mercedes reserve driver, emerged as a candidate for Red Bull's sister team after their attempts to recruit IndyCar star Colton Herta failed. The American, who was tested for McLaren this season, does not qualify for an F1 driver super license, and governing body, the FIA, refused to allow him an exception despite Red Bull's request. So, the lineup is going to change ridiculously. Gasly and Ocon in Alpine. Alonso and Stroll in Aston Martin. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri in McLaren. Daniel Ricciardo in rumours to join Williams or Haas in replacement. Mick Schumacher staying at Haas for next season. At the moment, Kevin Magnussen staying for next season. So Ricciardo has one option left. Now, obviously, he'll finish the season after mutually agreeing to leaving the sport or leaving McLaren.
Who's racing alongside Yuki Tsunoda then?
We don't know.
So there's another one that Ricciardo could join if he'd done John Williams. Going back to the old Red Bull.
Fair enough. Right. Anyway, I'm just going to move on because I don't really want myself to get joined up with everything. All you need to know is Gasly's joining Ocon. This was posted 14 days ago at AlphaTauri. Not AlphaTauri, Alpine. De Vries goes to AlphaTauri. Now, finally moving on to the bit that this episode is actually about. Don, you never fail to disappoint, do you? You really don't. Oh my God. Don, what is wrong with you? Oh my God. Fuck's sake. Do you ever hate it when you're trying to message a bird and your fucking text just says, how about you put Z's instead of kisses? Tickle cunts.
Mine's always
I have apparently I have a new snap from someone. So that's fun. That's a lie, isn't it? Isn't it? Useless twats. Useless twats. Fuck this. Hold on. Now I have to put my new password in for Snapchat. Great. Fucking hell.
Who do you think's going to win the American Grand Prix?
We shall get onto that. Unlucky. Oh my God.
As if the races are like 10 o'clock at night.
Henry's I swear if Henry asks the question, I'm going to fucking punch him next week. We're
not at school next week.
Moving on. Anyway, moving back on. Japanese Grand Prix. This is what we're here to talk about, kind of. Now, I can now get rid of those. Japanese Grand Prix, the constructors' standings are at the bottom of your screen if you need to have an update. That probably needs
Whoop the McLaren.
That probably needs updating. I will check now. Okay, my thing just went away.
I know the AlphaTauri, Aston Martin and Williams is definitely correct.
Well, you're wrong. Because Aston Martin are now 7th.
Well, I know Williams is 10th.
But that's the one we can all rely on to be exactly true. Fucking hell, AlphaTauri are having a shite season.
Yeah, right then.
Holy crap.
Swear, like, at least one of them have DNF'd in every single race.
Every 2 races, I think. Anyway, there we go. That's what we like to see. Updated. Anyway, Mercedes still sit third, as you can see, with Red Bull in first. As occupied second is Ferrari. Now, going back to the results, which I will get up now. We won't stay on this for too long because I have to go call someone. Well, I don't have to, but I want to. You what?
Is this your bed?
Nah, not tonight. She's at work tonight. What the fuck do you want, woman? Alright, okay. I thought she was going to be saying, "Oh, this fucking end the stream." It's like, no, fuck you.
No.
Good that she didn't. That wasn't my bird, by the way. The one that I'm talking to right now was I can't contact my bird because obviously it's for work. Anyway, moving on. So we will skip past qualifying because we don't really need to know. So Verstappen won. Actually, I'll share my screen so you guys can see it without me having to present it to you with an absolute ass on my face. Now, there is the results. Hamilton finishing P5 with George Russell in P8, which was kind of disappointing, but he did start in 15th. So Sergio Perez took second spot with Charles Leclerc finishing off the podium with Esteban Ocon back in the top 5 for the first time since goodness knows when. Hamilton finishing just behind, unfortunately couldn't catch him in time. However, Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton finishing in front of each other and behind each other once again, as we all like to see. Fernando Alonso in P7 ahead of George Russell. Nicholas Latifi getting his first point of the season. He even got 2. Lando Norris stealing the one final point out of Daniel Ricciardo in his final Japanese Grand Prix. Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, and Kevin Magnussen all slipped off the points after the pit stops. Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu, surprisingly, got fastest lap. Mick Schumacher and Pierre Gasly rounded off the grid as Pierre Gasly was luckily not DNF. They didn't have a DNF. Carlos Sainz and Alex Albon having the only DNFs. Carlos Sainz bringing back anger to the paddock as the recovery truck was on the track, and Gasly was brought back of Jules Bianchi and his incident about 13 years ago. So, fastest lap for 144.411. I don't know how the fuck he's managed to do that exactly, but it must have been on softs.
Insane.
But Suzuka is one of the most, I don't want to say least liked tracks, but it's not the best.
I don't like it.
I like it in terms that it's a decent looking track. But I'm just kidding. I only like it because it's in Japan, and Japan's where anime is made. Race time. That is Verstappen's race time. So, considering that, 1 minute 48, that would probably be about 3 hours, 2 minutes. Not even that. 3 hours, 3 minutes, and 13 seconds, 0.006, I reckon. Who was last? Pierre Gasly. Okay, fair enough.
Don't surprise me there.
My eyes have gone funny. Let me adjust. Right, we're good. But yeah, so that's pretty much what we were all expecting. Verstappen obviously getting the win, so either way, he won the title for the second time in a row with his first under threat, as the title says. Now, I can smell some delicious scran from the kitchen. I'll have to go have a piece of that. Now, that's obviously left the standings as it is. Champion Max Verstappen, 366 points by the end of the season. Well, end of the race. Sergio Perez just behind with Charles Leclerc 1 point below, which will be very interesting as I don't want Perez to become second. Little teacher's fucking pet. George Russell in P4 with Carlos Sainz in P5 as Lewis Hamilton stays in P6. Lando Norris in P7. Mercedes also looking into winning. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Winning the United States Grand Prix. Esteban Ocon in P8 with Alonso in 9th. Valtteri Bottas squeezing into 10th. Vettel and Ricciardo in their final seasons for F1 finish 11th and 12th after the race. Pierre Gasly is actually ahead of Kevin Magnussen, surprisingly. And Lance Stroll is in P15. Nicholas Latifi jumps ahead of Nick de Vries, even with 2 points, no points between them and 2 points each. Nico Hulkenberg, obviously at the bottom, with 0 points as a reserve driver when he raced in Australia. So, obviously, also, if you're asking, Zhou Guanyu, no, he did not get any points from that race weekend. If you want to know why, it's because if you're outside of the top 10 and you have fastest lap, it don't fucking count, motherfucker.
We had this discussion on the F1 game, didn't we?
It's a little bit difficult, but I mean,
I think it's a stupid decision.
I mean, not really. Like, it depends because not many drivers in the bottom half will get chance to be in to get fastest laps. So, you know, if they do, then it's just them being quick and they haven't got any traffic. But calendar, this is how the calendar looks for the rest of the season. So we've got United States this weekend with Mexico a week after. So there'll be an F1 chat next week. November is Brazil and then Abu Dhabi. Then in December, we would have Las Vegas if it was next season. So, with the 4 races we have left, Max Verstappen wins the title. Perez versus Leclerc for second, as Russell closing in on third. Yes, he can still catch him. So, Leclerc just has to DNF a lot. Now, just quickly... Bang. Now, practice 1 is in session, as you can see. Well, it isn't anymore, but you know what I mean. Practice 1 was in session. Practice 2 will be within the next 2 hours. Practice 3 will then be tomorrow within 24 hours. Now, pretty much at the same time, just tomorrow, when I arrive home from Rotherham versus Hull City. Now, there will be a match day vlog out for that, so make sure you do pop those notifications on, just so that you stay up to date when it comes out at about 8:30, 9 o'clock tomorrow night. Now, 22nd of October is qualifying, 11 till 12, and then 8 till 10 is the race. So the highlights, if you're wondering, will not be on until on Monday. Until Monday morning. Right. I have another Snapchat. Now, hey up. Piggy's a legend. He's one of our own. What's up, Piggy? I don't know whether you guys can guess what team he supports, because I certainly. I can't even get. I think he supports Hull City personally. I think he supports. Actually, no, I think he supports Man City.
I think
Man City.
I think
he supports Man City, doesn't he? Nah, but all seriousness, he is a Manchester United fan.
What a lad!
One of those scummers from down the road.
What a lad.
Up the Manchester City, as we always say over here. Up the citizens. But yeah, Manchester United fan does watch-alongs, news updates, injury updates, FIFA streams, you name it, he's got it. And also he has about 50k subs. But I have been sending him super chats, so I hope you are getting that money, Piggy, because I'm putting my money into you here. You're like a piggy bank. Your new nickname, Piggy Bank. I'm putting my money into you here. But yeah, I'm great. I hope you're doing well also. Obviously, pretty much my inspiration for doing YouTube. He's such a nice guy. He's absolutely brilliant in terms of how he talks to everyone in his chat, how he respects them. So big up to you, Piggy. I'll be joining your stream later. Not joining is of course, but I'll be in the chat for your FIFA streams, I guarantee it. But yes, I am great. Hope you are as well. We are going to do that 1v1 on FIFA. Don't you worry. I will get FIFA 23 at some point in the near future so I can fucking batter you, lad, with Manchester City. Now, just to rub the salt in of the 6-3, you know? Yeah? How's that feel? Oh, actually, that reminds me. Give me a sec. Hold on. Give me a few moments, and I shall be back to do something real quick. Right, I am back. Right, so what were we saying? Now that things can be sorted. I think Jensen knew exactly what I was going to do at that point. Anyway, I'm good, Piggy. Hope you're well. Please make sure you do smash the subscribe button to Piggy as well as me. Obviously, my inspiration for doing YouTube. But anyway, on to the United States Grand Prix. Circuit stats are there in front of your very eyes in about 2 seconds. So, first Grand Prix is 2012. 56 is the number of laps. 308.405 is the kilometres race distance. Lap record is Charles Leclerc in 2019 with 136.169. Circuit length rounding to 5.513 kilometres of length. Now, there is the information if you guys are willing to stop the stream at any point or rewatch the stream and then come back to this so you can look at it yourselves, because I'm not reading it all. 1, can't be asked. 2, too much. 3, already read about 15,000 paragraphs already. Now, virtual lap, something I always like to do. Magnussen will take it round first, and then I will just make sure you know what the fuck he was talking about. So I shall make sure this goes well, and I will take me and Jensen both off the screen for now as we watch Kevin Magnussen take us round the Circuit of the Americas. Never mind. Just hold it there for a second, guys. Don't worry. It's just the fucking advert. Don't have time for you right now, asshole. There we go.
I'm now going to take you on a lap around Circuit of the Americas. So, crossing the start-finish line and the run up to turn 1. It's a bumpy braking zone, uphill. so easy to lock up, but then, getting back on power early is very important. Coming into the SS, turn 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, great corners in Formula 1 car. Just so much downforce and grip in those corners. Having a good flow there is important. Again, another corner where front locking can be tricky. Coming up to turn 11, which is a big braking zone, where you can line up for an overtaking move. The run down to turn 12 is a DRS zone, so it's important to try and get close and get a good exit there if you're trying to overtake someone. So a big braking zone into turn 12, good opportunity for overtaking. Again, easy to lock up and go wide. And then we get into the slowest part of the track, which again is very technical. Easy to lock up a wheel or go a bit wide, turning and braking a lot at the same time. And into turn 18, I think it is, a very long corner. Nowadays it's flat in the Formula 1 car, which is incredible. And the second to last turn is a great one again. Downhill at apex, lots of curb on exit, and immediately a braking zone is very important as it's the last corner of the track, so you don't want to mess that up and try and get a good exit.
Well then, that is that. Wait, wrong way. I can't do this on this stream. Love you too. Now, sorry. There you go. So that was that. Grid penalties we don't know about because there isn't any. So this is the favourite bit for me, really, because I want to know what my guests think and what my chat thinks about who will win and get top 5. I did do top 10, but then I decided against it. I think people can already tell that I'm wearing the famous shirt of 9320 with 93 printed on the back. I will kick Jensen until he decides to show some class and decides to not show a team that is relevant as he is.
That's disrespectful.
You don't need to say sorry, don't worry about it. Just the bands, Anyway, there's no sprint race this weekend. That will be in 2 weeks for Brazil. No, weeks for Brazil. Qualifying sprint. Well, no, qualifying and race predictions then. Qualifying, we don't need to worry about realistically because what's the point? Race predictions. My predictions after the race in Japan. Anyway, moving on. Race predictions. I don't even know if I want to say them anymore because they're going to be the exact fucking same. Anyway, race winner, Max Verstappen. Second, George Russell. Third, Lewis Hamilton. Fourth, Leclerc. Fifth, Perez. Sixth, Sainz. No, that wasn't top 6, but yeah.
No.
But yeah, Jensen, if you have a prediction other than just the race winner, then go for it.
No, I think Verstappen is going to win it. I think Leclerc might push it up at second. And I think Hamilton's gonna just edge out on the podium. And then I think it's going to be close between Russell and Perez, to be fair. I don't know which way. I think Russell's going to come fourth and Perez is going to come fifth.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the most predicted way Mercedes before Red Bull at this point. But it's going to be a fun weekend. I mean, it's half term next week, so that gives me a break off college, and also it gives me a chance to actually watch the race on the night. Yay. So should be a fun weekend. Hopefully Red Bull decide to take the punishment and say, right, we breached the cap. We're going to take the punishment for it. Hamilton gets 8th world title. I celebrate like a fucking Looney Tune. Now, I am sad to say that is the end. After an hour and 7 minutes, that is the end of episode 18 of the F1 Chat. So you can obviously find me on Twitter at MTHD_official, on Instagram, MaxTigerHDOfficial. You should know this by now. It's on the outro already. Actually, no, it's not, but it's on my outro of my videos. And I say it every fucking stream anyway. So you can also obviously find me on here. You can find me on many other channels, depending on if you look at my fucking Instagram story or not. But if you do want to check out the Hull City versus Rotherham preview, or Rotherham versus Hull City preview, go to Hull and Back podcast, or to Hull and Back on YouTube. We have done an episode last night on said game. And I've done Tigers Talk on Tuesday. However, I have made the mistake of predicting the wrong scoreline because I didn't think we were going to be beating Blackpool. So that's going to be fun. Match day vlog will be out tomorrow night by a 9 o'clock, I presume. It might have to be later than that, if not later in the afternoon of Sunday. But I am hoping to get it out by 8:30, 9 o'clock tomorrow. F1 Chat will return on Monday. No. Wednesday. It will return on Wednesday. Tigers Talk on Thursday. So, yeah, that should be fun. Episode 26 of that shite. Woohoo! Talking about another trip on the road and then another home game. A kid for a quid. Blackburn Rovers. Now, there will be a match day vlog for that. I will have changed positions for that game. I'll be sat in at the top of N5. I'll be taking the piss out of all the fucking away fans, which is great. But yeah, that is it. But please make sure you do smash the subscribe button and the like button. Whilst turn post notifications on all so you never miss an upload or stream. But until next time, thank you, Jensen, for coming on.
No problem.
That has been episode 18 of the F1 Chat. Verstappen clinches second title with a win in Suzuka. It's first under threat. See you all next time. Take care. Bye-bye.